We are officially 10 games into the regular season, and I was watching everything from the hot start, 4-0-1 after 5 games, to that miserable road trip, but I refused to make any videos yet. I wanted to, see everything, how it unfolded. The drop-off is honestly insane. The Penguins had it all figured out, to me. 4-0-1 after your 5, everything was clicking. Offense, top 6, you were getting goals from your bottom 6. Bluger was out. Ryan Poehling stepped in perfectly on that fourth line center role, in my opinion. I love the Petrie trade. It looked like a huge upgrade over Marino after those 5 games. Jan Ruda was pitching in on the offense. Just everything was going right. Tristan Jarry was playing phenomenal, and they had yet to lose in regulation after 5. So you're like, what a start. It's about time this team can start on the right foot for once, instead of always, where the Penguins are known for those slower starts. And after those 5 games, I've seen enough. Stop the count. Let's get into the playoffs. No, I'm kidding. But I was really liking what I was seeing. And then all it took was the 5 games after that to completely change everything. And all of a sudden, it's another slow start for your Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins are playing some pretty bad hockey right now. A lot of flaws are on this team right now. And I don't understand it, because just 2 weeks ago, I couldn't really find many flaws. The team was looking really well. Let's start with the power play, right? It's not as bad as it seems, because they are scoring their occasional power play goal. It's not that they're not scoring me, it's that they're not getting that timely power play goal that they would need. And I'm not even asking for a goal on the power play. It would be nice. It's the whole point of it. But even just generate some momentum, right? Get some good shots on, some good shifts, some good offensive zone time. And then the shifts following that power play maybe will lead into a goal. But instead, you're sitting there breaking the puck in, or attempting to break the puck in. But anyways, power play needs to get fixed. Now, even worse, the penalty kill is not coming up with those huge kills that they came with last year. A big part of why the penalty kill isn't as successful as last year, it's 2 things in my opinion. Teddy Bluger's not there. He's a huge piece to that PK. So obviously it's going to take a bit of a hit with him not there. But honestly, the biggest reason why our penalty kill was so good last year, at one point I believe it was the best in the whole NHL, and I think it finished somewhere in the top 5, was because Tristan Jarry made up for a lot of those blunders in the defensive zone. He was just he made the penalty kill look a lot better than it actually was. Now that Jarry isn't performing at that level, I'm not saying he's bad or it's his fault, but he's not performing at his last year's self, and there's still time to change that. But it's exposing a lot of the penalty kill's flaws. That, and with no Bluger, it's not the prettiest. Now, onto the 5-on-5 play, which is more important. Let's get to that bottom 6, because listen, the fourth line I actually am impressed with. The fourth line of McGinn, Poehling, and Archibald. Now, obviously, like the penalty kill, it will get better once Teddy Bluger gets back into the lineup. My complaint is the third line. It started really well in the beginning. When they were 4-0-1, a big reason was because Jeff Carter was producing, Kapanen was playing amazing, and Heinen was there producing in those 5 games. But ever since Jeff Carter was taken out of that third line center spot, in the beginning of the road trip, because of the injury to Jason Zucker and Jake Gensel, he played on Malkin's wing, which, by the way, we need to stop putting Jeff Carter anywhere near the top 6. That's a conversation for another day. But ever since that, and ever since his injury, over the last 5 games or so, our third line center has been Sam Poulin, and now Drew O'Connor has been called up. The third lines with them on it, centering, was just not happening. Kapanen went back to his last year's self. I got some PTSD watching some of Kapanen's plays he was making over this road trip. If the Penguins want to succeed this year, and I said it a few times in some other videos leading into the season, they're going to need a third line that's not invisible, essentially. They need a third line that's producing. And in the first 5 games, they had a third line that was producing. Over this last 5-game losing streak, the third line's been invisible. Kasperi Kapanen has been terrible. So I'm just wondering, is Carter that important on the third line? Because when he was on there, and I had my criticism for Jeff Carter last year, but listen, when he's playing on that third line, whether he's slow or whatever, the guy produces for some reason. But I swear, every complaint I have for Jeff Carter, he always shuts me up, because he just finds a way to get on the scoreboard. Like, it doesn't matter. He can have the worst game ever, and he'll have a goal and assist. The solution for that third line, is it Jeff Carter returning? It might just be. When he was centering that third line, the Penguins were 4-0-1, and Kapanen had 4 points in 5 games. Heinen had 5 points in 5 games, and Carter himself had a couple goals, couple assists, was producing. Now let's get into the final problem, and the biggest one, best for last, as everyone likes to say, and that is that defense, because it is atrocious. Not all of it, but the most important part of it, and that is the top pair of Dumoulin and Chris Letang have not been what they used to be. This started last year, honestly. Last year, I think Chris Letang had one of his best seasons, but you saw Dumoulin was regressing. I believe in Chris Letang to turn it around. I don't think age has hit him yet because he still flies out there. You see him carry the puck, like he still moves. But I think Brian Dumoulin is getting to that territory of liability. Now, hopefully the solution to this is Chris Letang comes back from his little illness. He's sick now. That's why he's not playing. He's not injured. Hopefully he takes the rest, comes back, and is that old Chris Letang. And by old, I mean last year Chris Letang, because that's the solution. Chris Letang is capable of playing those top minutes versus top competition. Of course, he's going to have those games where it's like, Chris Letang, what are you doing, buddy? But the good far outweighs the bad, and we're going to need that Chris Letang. And once that version of Letang comes back, I think everything's just going to fall into place. And overall, I like that Pedersen-Petrie pairing in the beginning. Like, I think that's a pair right there. That's a solid pair. Pedersen has been underrated this year so far. I think one of our more consistent defensemen, which leads me to my next point. If you want success this year, Dumoulin's got to go. And keep him in the lineup because maybe it's not that easy to trade that cap away and that body away. Maybe other teams see him as a liability as well. But what concerns me is I don't think the Penguins view Dumoulin as a liability. I don't think Mike Sullivan views Dumoulin as a liability, which is fine. But I don't think he needs to be playing top minutes. And who knows, maybe he's not that bad. If you shelter him a bit, let's put him on the third pair. Give him 13 to 15 minutes a night, an extra 2 minutes on PK. His total ice time will be about 16 to 17 minutes a night. And who knows, maybe he still has that, good defense in him, just not playing the top competition every night. And doing that will allow a guy like Pedersen, who I believe is ready to fulfill that top line, top pair with Chris Letang. I don't think he's going to be a liability as much as what Dumoulin is. And what that does is it allows Pierre-Olivier Joseph to go up to play with Petrie, or you can get creative, put Jan Ruda to play with Petrie because he can play both sides, and maybe you have a better looking defense that way. Just something about this Dumoulin-Letang pairing going forward, recipe for disaster. Let's get some positivity going before I end the video. You're only 4-4-2. It's November, which we always know how this team starts slow. We're November. You guys need to realize November. Penguins never are wowing you in November. It's always into the new year. And it's not like they've dug themselves into a huge hole where they have to get out of it. They're 4-4-2, couple points out of a playoff spot. I mean, to even look at where they are in the standings is a bit silly. I'm telling you right now, a lot's going to change from today till April. The standings will be completely different. I feel like it's a bit foolish of us Penguins fans who've watched this team for so long to just write them off in November once again for like the 50th year in a row. I feel like just every year we're doing this. Let's wait at least this time. That's all I'm saying. Let's just wait. Because I feel like we'll be surprised in a few months when the team is back top 3 in the Metro, or it might not happen, right? This might be the year they miss. But all I'm asking is, let's wait and see. That's my piece on the current Penguins losing streak. What do you think of this? Do you think the Penguins are going to get out of it? I think for sure. I think the solutions are all within the locker room. And what do you think the Penguins' biggest problem is early in the season? And what can they do to fix that? So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.